Hello friends, this is Srikanth Singh. Welcome you at my YouTube channel ImproEnglish. My dear friends, as you know, every day I'm trying my best to come in front of you with my new videos that will help you to enhance your knowledge of English learning, and especially for the student those are going to sit in upcoming exam of 2025, either CBSE or state board English medium. So in this session, I am going to discuss the topic Black Aeroplane by Frederick Forsyth. Frederick Forsyth especially is from Britain, and he was well known for his espionage books, novels, and many more things. So without delay, let's start today's session. About the author, if we talk about the author, Frederick Forsyth is a British author. Is a British author best known for his gripping thrillers and espionage novels. He is very well known for his spy novels and gripping thrillers. Over, he was born in August 25, 1938, in Ashford, Kent, England. He took birth in England on August 25, 1938. He had a long and successful career both as a writer and as a journalist. He has a good career in both fields. He wrote many things as a writer and he reported as a journalist, with many of his works being adapted into films and television. And he is very well known writer and journalist. That's why the filmmakers of Britain and other countries in worldwide adopted his novels or many things to make their movies or television series. Forsyth attended the University of Granada in Spain before entering the world of journalism. Actually, he completed his journalism when he entered in journalism field. Before that, he completed his education from University of Granada, that is in Spain. After that, his early career involved working as a reporter for the Manchester Guardian. It is the most important newspaper in his time, in which he did his service, and now it turned into the Guardian. And then as a correspondent for the BBC. And after that, he worked as a correspondent for the BBC. Forsyth's most famous works is The Day of the Jackal. And what he did, the most famous work of him is The Day of the Jackal, that he completed in 1971, which was his debut novel. Debut means the first thing that he wrote in his career. The book is about an assassin hired to kill French President Charles de Gaulle, and it is considered a classic of the thriller genre. Genre means style. Genre means style. And assassin means to kill. Assassin means to kill a VIP. A VIP person. Here, assassin. You can learn this SSN. So let's go ahead and see what is the in next slide. Flying alone in the night. Actually, this is the time, and the story begins with he. It means the writer reminded his old story and wrote this, and this is the summary of that. When he was flying with his Dakota aircraft at 1 a.m. heading back to England after a trip over France. He was coming back to England after a trip over France. The moon was rising behind him, and the moon was rising behind him in the east, and the sky was clear. Actually, when he was flying towards England from France, the moon was rising behind him, and the sky was completely clear with full of stars. Those are twinkling above the above in sky. He was looking forward to reuniting with his family and enjoying breakfast together. Actually, he was very happy to think that as soon as he would be his family members, he would take breakfast together. And with this curiosity, he was flying very fast towards the England, contacting Paris control. And in on the way of in the air, he contacted Paris control information them that he was en route to England. The control center acknowledged his message and instructed him to turn 12 degrees west. And as soon as he contacted the control Paris control room, the Paris control room acknowledged his message and instructed him to turn his flight 10 degrees in west direction. Let's see some more information about it. Now, storm clouds ahead. After making the turn, as soon as he turned his flight in west direction on 12 degrees, everything was fair and fine. However, about 150 kilometers from Paris, and as soon as he was on the way in the air of 150 kilometers from Paris, he saw dark storm clouds ahead. He found that there was a dark storm clouds in front of him, towering like mountains, and that dark storm towering like mountains in front of him. He realized that going over them was impossible. Actually, as soon as he saw this dark storm, he realized that it was impossible for him to cross the storm easily, and he was sure what to do. And he was not sure what to do in this situation. He was completely confused how he could find a way to go. Facing a difficult decision, for a moment he considered turning back to Paris, but he was determined to get home. Actually, he found, and after that, he thought that he should return to Paris. But in his mind, one thing was going that he wanted to get his home. Deciding to take a risk, he made his mind to take a risk. He flew directly into the storm, and after that, he flew directly into the storm. Inside the aircraft, everything was pitch black. And as soon as he entered in the storm, he found everything was black there. And the plane rocked violently in the turbulent air. And the air that in stormy air, the flight felt some turbulent and violently rocked. He checked his compass, but it was malfunctioning. And after that, he checked his compass and he found that it was not working properly. It means malfunctioned. His attempts to contact Paris control were unsuccessful. He found that his effort to control his effort to contact with Paris control was not good, was not success. He found himself completely lost in the storm. And now the dark things that attempted his mind was he was completely without any hope. So let's see the next slide. Here you can see a mysterious aeroplane. And as soon as he found that he was unable to cross this storm and he was completely perplexed in this situation, he saw a mysterious aeroplane. He saw a black uh, he saw a black aircraft nearby to him. It had no lights on its wings. Actually, there was no lights on its wings. It means on new aeroplane, and it seemed to be flying alongside him in the storm. And he found that it was flying alongside with his own aircraft in the storm. Relieved to see another plane, he felt some relief to see another plane alongside with him, and he assumed it was guiding him. And he found, and he assumed, he considered that the aeroplane, the next aircraft, was guiding him towards the way. Decided to follow it, he flew alongside the mysterious plane for about half an hour. And after that, he thought it, and also he followed that mysterious plane at least 1.5 hours, but his fuel was nearly depleted. But he found that his fuel was going to end. Growing anxious, thinking that he was very worried, he began to descend, fearing he might run out of fuel before landing. And he started thinking before landing on the ground, it might be possibility his fuel might run out. Let's see some more things. In next slide, I am going to describe you. Suddenly, the author found himself on a runway. He was thinking these things when he found himself on a runway, on a runway, ready for landing, and he was ready to land on the ground. He searched for the other aircraft, and as soon as he made this mind, he thought about the other aircraft, and he wanted to thank the pilot for helping him. Actually, in this situation, he was stuck in a dark cloud, dark storm, and now he was safely landed on the ground in England. So he wanted to thank that pilot who helped him very much in that condition. But the sky was empty. But when he started searching that pilot, he found that there was no aircraft. The sky was completely empty. Confused, he was perplexed, in dilemma. He entered the control tower and asked the woman. And as soon as he left the airplane, he he walked towards the control tower, and he inquired the woman inside where the other plane had gone. She looked at him in surprise, and as soon as the woman heard the question, she was very surprised, and in surprise condition, she looked at him and told that no other plane had been in the area that night. He informed him that there was no other aeroplane in that area in that night. Listening that, it was completely confusing confusing and created a mysterious things and a puzzled mind of the writer. He was completely thoughtless, listening that there was no aeroplane in the sky. A puzzling mystery. The author was stunned. Listening that, he was stunned and shocked. He couldn't understand what had happened. Actually, hearing this word of the woman, he was unable to understand what had happened with him. He had flown without a compass or radio. He thought that he had flown without a compass or radio, had almost no fuel left, and yet had made it safely to the runway. He wondered who had helped him. Actually, he was surprised and he was shocked to know that how he reached there, and he wanted to thank that pilot But now he was completely shocked to see that how he reached there, find his way through the storm. Who was the pilot of the mysterious black aeroplane that had flown without lights in the storm? And all the life he he thought about, he considered about who had in the sky and who was the pilot who flight flown who had flown the aeroplane without lights in the storm. So my dear friends, my dear students, I hope this video will be very helpful, very useful to you, and after looking this video you can make a good confidence in yourself that you can do the question related to this. Thank you.